Okay, but today I want to talk about how you're creating your own objections because this is so good. So something I see all of the time is how most of the time in our sales process we're creating our own objection. And why I titled it this way is so interesting. So I want to just share that with you first, which is that I was actually like, this is something I talk about and teach about with my clients all the time. But I was having this conversation with one of my clients and we were talking about her sales and how it's like a reflection and all this stuff I'm going to dive into with you. And she like literally had an aha moment. Like I saw her eyes be like, and she was like, holy shit, I'm creating all of my own objections. And I was like, damn, girl, that's a perfect way to say it. I have never said it so succinctly, but that's exactly it, right? You're creating all your own objections. And so that is what we're going to talk about today. But I just want to give her credit for titling it so perfectly. And now I think about it like that all the time, which is just like, it's such a like beautiful, succinct way to say it. Like you're creating the objection is so much easier. And for me, it's like so empowering to think about that way. And so we'll get into that, but I want to give her credit here. I like your lip gloss, but also think your skin looks phenomenal. Are you wearing tinted moisturizer? Thank you, Lisa. Well, I do have a tan, so that's probably part of it because I spent most of the weekend in the sun. But yes, I'm wearing a Clinique tinted moisturizer, and I really like it. I've been trying, what's the other one I like? Oh, it's called something like Bye Bye Foundation or something, and it's like a tinted moisturizer, and I really like that one too. But this one's a Clinique one. I love all the makeup things. Okay, and you like lip gloss too. Okay, so this is good to know. So I think maybe I just need to get used to it. For me, I'm like, I feel like I'm naked. Like I basically feel like I'm here with the shirt off. That might even be more comfortable. But I'm getting used to it. I like it. Okay, so anyway, credit to my client for your creating your own objections. Totally true. So that's something I see all the time. Now, I do want to preface this by saying I think that what I'm not trying to take you to today, like what we're not trying to get to, is to get to the place where you have no objections. Like I think there are very few people who have a zero objections. Like that's not what we're trying to get to. In fact, if I'm going to just be perfectly honest, if you have no objections, it means you're not making as many sales as you could be, quite honestly. So that's a whole other story. But my point is today we're not trying to get to having no objections. That's not the goal at all. And it's not an important goal in my opinion. We are trying to get to the place where you feel massively confident in moving through them. That's the whole thing. So I want to ask you guys a question, which is, what is the objection you get most? So what I hear from most people, and you guys know I have a sales mastermind and a sales intensive, and I teach about sales all the time with all of my clients. So what I hear most is time, money, and readiness. So I want to know whether you're watching live or the replay, give me a 1, a 2, or a 3, depending on what objection you get the most. So 1 for time, 2 for money, 3 for readiness. I want to know, and I promise it's going to be relevant. Or you could be a fucking wild card and be like, none of the above, this is the one. So drop a 1, 2, or 3 in the comments, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay. What objection do you get the most? Time, money, or readiness, right? And again, I just want to like say this so clearly and so much because I think like it's so important, which is like, don't feel like you're doing it wrong if you drop a number. Like, I think that so often we think like, oh, okay, like where do I get, like I want to get the sales process where I get no objections, right? Ken says 2, Sarah says 2, Debbie says 2, Stephanie says 2. Okay, so cool. This is super awesome. Okay, so most people are getting money, which is number 2. So time is 1, money is 2, readiness is 3. So most people are getting 2. So you're not doing it wrong if you get objections. Like I want to set the record clear on that, right? So like I said before, to be honest, if you're trying to build your sales process so that you never have to deal with objections, you're just not going to make as many sales. Like I see people want to do that all the time. They're like, yeah. Cool. I get that you teach about moving through and empowering through objections, but like what I really want to know is just how not to have any. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. What you're asking is to make less sales, right? right? Because if we're not getting good at helping empower people move through objections, we're not making as many sales as we could be. So anyway, permission for you, if you're watching this live or the replay, put a number. There's no shame in that game. Like, it's not bad to get objections, right? But what I will tell you is that sometimes, and a lot of the time, it's self-created if we can't move our people through it. So I would say, too, for me as well, the number one objection I get is money. I'm just really, really good at moving people through it. Like, to the point where I convert probably like 85 to 90% of the time, even though I get money objections. So it's not wrong that I get money objections. Of course I get money objections. I mean, I take fucking 10% of your revenue, right? But that's okay. That's not the problem. The problem is, do you feel confident moving through them? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And then the one other thing I want to say about objections before we dive into that is that often what your result is that you're selling also dictates the type of objection you get. So for me, I sell, make more money online. So there's no coincidence that money would be the number one objection I get. Or like one of my clients, she's a money mindset coach. Ain't nobody getting more money objections than her, right? Why would I need a money mindset coach? Because I have money objections, right? Why would I need a business coach to help me make more money? Because I want more money. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Why would I want somebody to help me better manage my time? That person's probably going to get time objections. You get my point. Sometimes like what we're selling dictates the objection, but us and our internal beliefs and state are what ultimately dictate the outcome of being able to empower them to move through that objection. Does that make sense? So getting them is not wrong. Like, I barely even like notice anymore. And I'm not trying to say that in like this super cavalier way. I'm just saying, like, I think that so many of us can get so like tightened up around it. Like, oh, she has something that's making her nervous about buying. Who the fuck doesn't? Like, the way I think about it is like, my clients or my potential clients are putting so much on the line. Like, they're signing up to give some random chick online that they've never met $1,250 a month plus 10% of their revenue. Yeah, it's cool if that feels a little scary. Let's talk it through, right? Like, it's totally fine. They're putting a lot on the line. Like, it's fine to have an objection, but where we most often get stuck is that we're actually creating our own most of the time, right? So again, if you're watching, I really want to know, because I think this is good. So most of us have said two, meaning money as our number one objection. But I want to know time is number one, money is number two, readiness is number three. So if you're watching live or the replay, drop it. Tell us 1, 2, or 3. So useful to be able to see this. Okay. So here's what I want to say. Most of the time, you're getting the same one over and over. Does everybody agree with that? Like, most of you are saying two. Debbie says two most, then sometimes one, right? So, but most of us are getting the same one. And I always see that as like a sign. Like, if you keep hearing the same thing over and over and over, often it means there's something in you that's creating that. So what do I mean? I mean that here's a way to say it. I actually don't know where I heard this, but it's perfection. You can't overcome an objection that you also have. So let's go to the readiness one. I can't walk around all day thinking that I may or may not be fully ready to serve clients and not get a readiness objection all the fucking time that I can't move people through. Are you guys hearing static? Or is that my thing? Can you guys hear me okay? Just give me an emoji or a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, because I hear like a lot of static in this ear, and I'm new to AirPods. It also might be hitting my earring. Someone just tell me if you can hear me. Okay. So I can't be someone who's walking around thinking that I may or may not be ready to serve clients all day, and then not getting an objection around readiness that I can't move past. I can't be someone who's walking around feeling stretched for time all the time and not meet that objection and be able to move past it. Did I say that right? In other words, you won't be able to move through that time objection if time is also your objection. Same for money. I can't be someone that's constantly saying, I don't have the money, I can't invest in that, I can't invest in my business, I can't invest in myself, and then having the opposite experience of clients being willing to invest, right? Thank you, Debbie. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. Like, those two just cannot meet. Like, do you see how that is? It's so funny how we miss the obvious sometimes, but it's like in my sales mastermind today, somebody was saying to me, it was really like, it's so funny when you think about it. I'm going to lovingly use her as an example because I totally called her out and we had a great talk around this, but she was like, you know, I'm not booking the discovery calls. I want to be booking. Also, I had to go away for the weekend because I'm feeling really drained from the clients I have. I'm like, well, no shit, you're not booking the sales calls you're feeling super drained and not ready for more clients. And so the mirror is you're not ready for more clients and calls, and that's getting reflected to you, right? We can't, and then another girl in the mastermind jumped in and was like, oh my God, cosign. I do that sometimes. Like, I'm worried that another client will mean something gets taken away. So I find myself pushing them away, and I hear a lot of time objections, right? So you can't overcome an objection you also have, right? If you're someone that's trying to walk someone through and taking an investment or making an investment in themselves, and you're not also someone who believes in investing in themselves or has taken the action of investing themselves, you're not going to be able to walk them through or empower them through that objection, right? The reason I'm fantastic at money objections and empowering people through them at this point, I don't even say overcoming, by the way, I say like empowering them through them, is because I have had to make some very scary investments in business when I didn't have the money. Like, that's not an objection for me. I've overcome that myself, right? The reason I'm good at walking people through readiness is because I believe I'm so fucking ready to serve people. I am the best at what I do, right? The reason I can walk people through a time objection is because I know I have time for this client in front of me, or this potential client in front of me, right? So it's sort of this idea where like we have to clean up our own wheelhouse before we can help other people move through it. And I want to say something else about the money, because I think that sometimes in our industry it gets really crazy where it's like, if you're not investing, someone won't invest in you. And I don't mean to say that, but I do mean to say, if you don't believe in investment, if you don't truly believe that someone should look at this as an investment, if you don't truly believe that they're going to make the right investment, if you don't truly believe that sometimes you have to put shit out on the line, even when you don't have the money, you're not going to be able to walk anybody through that. You're not going to be able to empower anybody through that. And so often we're looking for the clients to prove something to us. I'm looking for the clients to prove to me that I'm ready. I'm looking to get the clients so I have to figure out where I have time. I'm looking to get the clients so I have the money. It doesn't work like that. We create our own objections. So for you, what I want you guys to look at today is like, if I keep getting the same objection over and over again, there's two questions, right? One is it actually a problem? If you're good at empowering someone to move through it, it's not a problem. Let's stop trying to like make sales an objection-free world and just feel really confident and empowered in getting through them. Does that make sense? Anybody here like had that feeling that you should be like objection-free and just want to like leave it behind today? Right? So the first question is this actually a problem? If it is, if I'm not getting sales, then it's a problem. Right? If I'm getting sales and I'm really good at empowering people through it, fine, it's not a problem. The second question is, what in me is creating this? It's just true. And I hate to say it in that way because I think sometimes it can be so hard to step into that level of personal responsibility. But for me, it's the most freeing thing in my business. Right? Is being like, what in me is creating this, instead of like, why is everyone I'm attracting saying they don't have the money? Fuck that. What in me is creating this? Right? When you can step into that level of empowerment, empowering someone else through their objections feels amazing. When you aren't in your power in that way and you feel like you're at the mercy of everyone else, empowering someone through that objection is so fucking hard, right? So here's something I hear all the time in different ways, shapes, or forms that I want to share about this is I just want to find clients that have the money. I get it. It seems like, well, if I'm getting money objections and I find clients who have money, the money objections go away. But it's not how it works. Number one, even if I have money, I may still have a money objection, right? Does that make sense? I mean, like, I made $400K in my business last year, and I still have a money objection about some investments I make. You know, like, having more money doesn't mean you wildly spend and you don't have boundaries around it and it takes away all your objections, right? Nor does having money really shift the problem of seeing something as an investment, right? Or of believing that this is the right thing to invest into. Does that make sense? So what we have to do is continue to shift internally instead of always shifting the external, meaning, where do I find the people who have money? Well, you got to look at your own wheelhouse first. You got to look at what are your beliefs around money, because I promise you, your sales process is only and ever a mirror for your own beliefs around time, around money, and around readiness, and around whatever other objection you get. But I mean, those are like the most common ones, right? I'm going to take a sip of this. Does anybody have questions? I have a little more to say, but if you have questions about this, super happy to answer them. Hi, Ariel. Oh my God, so good. Has anybody had this? It's like a spring edition. It's delicious. Just making my day. Okay, so the question is, what in me is creating this, right? Because for me, this is what I see all the time when I teach sales. If you fully believe in what you're selling, if you are fully congruent with that, if you have worked through your own objections and you really think that your thing is the best thing since sliced bread, and anybody who doesn't step into it is crazy, you're going to start empowering people through objections pretty much with ease. If you're secretly like, my thing's good, but like if you don't have the money, maybe don't invest because I'm not sure, you're going to get that objection every time, and you're not going to be able to move through it. You're not going to be able to empower them through it. And this is the sales work that people hate quite honestly, because they would rather go tweak their message, go find the people who have more money, go look for the clients who have no objection, go whatever, do the 100 other things the online world will tell you to do, right? And it's never the thing, you guys, right? I mean, listen, do you need a good message? Sure, but like if you're noticing that you have your own objections, that's the first and only thing you have to focus on, right? Because that will be the game changer when you get on the phone with people. I'm so fucking good at walking people through money objections because I've had them and I know what it feels like, and because I've had to overcome my own enough. Like I have officially overcome that objection for myself. Does that make sense? If you haven't, it is so difficult to walk someone else through it. So difficult. And even if you're like, well, yeah, I'm someone who invests. Okay, but are you someone who believes people should invest in you? Are you someone who believes that the best place for them to spend their money is with you? Like, I really believe the best fucking place you could spend your money in business is by hiring me as a coach. Hands down. You want to spend good money in your business? Hire me as a coach. That's why it's easy for me to walk people through money objections. If I'm like, I mean, I'm good, but maybe you should hire Sarah because she's good too. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know if like, you seem like you want a lot of results and I don't know. Even if I'm not actively saying that, if that's what's going on up here, I promise that energy translates. every single time. You will continue to create your own objections until you overcome them yourself. And it's so much work. I get it. Like, this is the hard work. It's the hard work to be like, I need to look at this. I need to ask myself, like, what is the theme in what I keep hearing in my sales process? And how do I go fucking look at that and work through it? But if I do that, I will start to shine in sales. Like, I think we think sales are so complicated, and it's like, overcome your own objections first, and then it's pretty easy to walk other people through it. And I know that sounds kind of cavalier and simple, and I mean for it too, because it is kind of that simple, but it's not easy. And that's the difference, right? It's not easy to keep going, oh yeah, I have this like very serious money objection where I'm like not willing to invest. I'm not looking at things in investment, and I'm not sure that someone should invest in me. Well, you can promote till you're blue in the face, but if all those things don't line up, it's not going to feel how you want it to feel. You're not going to make the sales you want to make, right? And here's the other thing. The reason you don't have to worry about getting objections is if you feel confident in solving them. So if you're someone who's finding themselves going, where's the sales process where I don't get objections? It means you haven't found your confidence yet in helping people move through them, right? And if you haven't found your confidence in helping people move through them, it probably means it's because you have a story in there. So this is your call to look at, what is my story here? How am I creating my own objection? The client that I told you said, like, had this aha moment and said to me, holy shit, I'm creating my own objection. Had this like huge realization that she had made her program too short, and she was feeling a ton of mother effing pressure about getting someone the results in this like really short span of time. And she was like, oh my God, I'm creating my own objection because I constantly keep getting a money objection. And like, at the end of the day, like, I really don't know if they should spend money on me because I only gave myself 2 months to give them this result. As soon as she changed that, everything started shifting in her sales process, right? She started feeling like, okay, I have this space. This is the best place they can invest. Like, I know if I have this time frame, I can get them these results. Like, I am amazing at this, right? So it can be something really practical that you can look at. Like, it's not that you can't make practical shifts, but you have to figure out where it's coming from. So she was like, oh, duh. Of course they're all giving me this, like, well, I don't know if I can get the result for the money and da-da-da objection. There you have it, because that's what she was thinking the whole time. And it was crazy because she kept getting it. She got like 5 in a row or something, right? And that she couldn't move through. For me, that's the most exciting piece. Like, if someone comes to me and is like, I always get this objection and I can never move through it, I'm like, cool, we know exactly what to fix. For most people, that's so defeating. And I think that it's not. It's like, now you know exactly what to pay attention to. Now you know what objection you have to overcome for yourself, right? If you're not consistently being able to empower people through them. Does that make sense? I need another sip, you guys. This is so good. So here's the thing. If you're feeling frustrated in your sales process and you want to make more money, you got to do 2 things. I always have 2 things. It's like a fucking addiction. I can't stop myself. You got to do 2 things. The first is you have to decide that it's okay to get objections. We have to stop being scared of that. We have to stop making that a problem. We have to stop looking for the thing where we get no objections at all. Stop making it a problem, right? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. The second someone has an objection on a call, your whole body has a reaction. You freeze up, you like tense up, you completely go to this like other place. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop making objections wrong. It's just another piece of the conversation. And the second thing is you have to figure out what your own objections are, and you have to work through those first before you're going to work anybody else through them, right? Because if you haven't overcome your own, the likelihood that you're helping someone else through it, pretty much 0. Maybe 1 out of 10, I don't know, probably 0, right? And once you do that, once you overcome your own, your conversion rate is going to start to skyrocket because your ability to empower someone else through theirs is so different, so much easier, so much better, right? So again, just know that you are often the creator of your own objections. And once you step into that power of being like, yo, I'm making this happen, the exciting part is that you also step into the power of, oh my God, I can change this. So today, I want you to look at what is the objection I still have. And if you're feeling super brave and amazing and vulnerable, you could give me a comment and tell me what is the objection you still have. No pressure, but that would be super fucking cool. And I would love to walk you through that. Whether that's now or the replay, I will have good comments for you, I promise. On a side note to that, has anybody watched the Brene Brown, I guess documentary, speech, whatever you want to call it, on Netflix special? The Brene Brown special. Speaking of vulnerability, holy F, that was good. That was really good. I watched it on my birthday and it like made my birthday. She's so good. So anyway, that's a complete side note, but the point is, if you watch that, you may want to comment and tell me what objection you still need to overcome because you would be being so brave and vulnerable and I would give you a ton of support, but no pressure. But if you haven't watched that, honestly, it is so fucking good. Irzi says that the woman I desire to work with doesn't have the money to purchase my services. Boom. Bless you for saying that. Thank you for being so open. And oh my God, I love this because I think everybody thinks this is one point or another. I was talking about that earlier. Like so often we're like, where's the person that has the money? So here's what I want to say to you, Irsis. I want you to get into the place where you're like, I am the best investment you could make, even if you feel like you're going to have to put it on a credit card. Even if you're, I'm not saying you have to say that to someone, but I'm saying like in your heart, I want you to feel like, even if you have to figure it out, even if you have to piece shit together to make it work, you have to see this as an investment. And I see myself as the best investment these people could make. The best, right? That the woman who is struggling where I want to help her, she doesn't have the finances. Right. Sorry, I think you typed it twice for me. I appreciate you. Right? That's a place you need to get into. The objection you need to overcome is why even if someone doesn't have it, they should still want to figure it out enough to hire you. I'll tell you, I didn't have it when I hired my first coach. I'll tell you, I didn't have it when I hired my first team member. Like, right? And I always saw it as an investment. Always. And that's why it has paid off, right? And so your job is to start seeing yourself as an investment and to start seeing that even if you don't have the money yet in business, I'm the best investment you could make, right? I totally think that. It might sound egotistical, but it's true. I really think like, even if you haven't made a dime in your business yet and whatever, $7,500 feels like this insane amount of money, I still think I'm the best investment you could make, right? I have overcome that objection for myself. And Airseas, I know you probably have invested. Oh, perfect. You're saying this. I didn't have it either both times. This was huge for me. Right. Like you didn't have it either. Most of us, I mean, to be honest, I know very few people who had it when they invested in their business. And I know very few successful people who have only and ever made investments when they had it. Right. So that's your objection for you to overcome first. Because once you do, empowering other people through it is so easy. Right? Like for me, I've always been pretty lucky to have that mentality because I came from a family of entrepreneurs and all of them like took out a fucking loan from the bank and busted their ass for a few years before they saw that return. So for me, I was like, yeah, that's what you do to start a business. You invest money that you maybe don't have, right? So that was an objection I've been lucky enough to have kind of been able to overcome through looking at the past and stuff like that too. But even just looking at my current circumstances of like a lot of the times I've invested, I didn't have the money and it paid off, right? Now, here's where I think people get tripped up is that they go, well, yeah, a few times I made investments and I didn't have the money and it didn't pay off. And so then they get really weird about walking their client through that. Does that make sense? So they've like maybe made a bad investment. Well, what they consider a bad investment or two when they didn't have the money. And so they're so scared to walk their clients through that. Well, you have to believe there's no chance you're going to be a bad investment, right? Like, no chance I'm going to be a bad investment. Like, I know for sure a client is never going to come to me, invest in me, and walk away after our 6 months together and be like, damn, that was such a waste. It's just not going to, I will not let that happen, right? And so when you can get into that mentality of like, yeah, every time I invested, I didn't have it. And yeah, like, I'm the best place to spend it because I know for fucking sure what's not going to happen is you're going to walk away from working with me not feeling better, not getting more results, right? So those are just some things to step into. This is my biggest issue in business. Shoot. Oh, this just pushed me through for sure. Oh, so good. That's the mentality I've always had, and I did the same. Totally. And you get to kind of let your potential clients borrow that belief. See, I always see my investments as lessons, even if I didn't make money. I know I'm great investment. I just stuck on the woman who I feel doesn't have it. And I think you have to just decide that her not having it isn't a problem, right? Your person is resourceful and she's going to figure it out. And like, none of us had it. And we were resourceful and figured it out. So the objection to overcome is that she should have it, right? Like, that's your objection. And it's probably the objection you're getting all the time is like, I would, but I literally just don't have it, right? And you're like, oh, let me see what happened there because I think you should have it, right? And just decided today, boom, you're done. It's not an objection. You just overcame your own. I love that. Thank you so much for being so brave and vulnerable and letting me walk you through that. But this is such a good example. And I'm sure like every one of you that's watching now or watching the replay relates to this in some way, shape, or form. And this is the thing. We create our own, right? We truly do. And as soon as like what Airsies just did, where she was like, boom, I just decided this is not a thing, you will slowly start to see that it becomes not a thing. Like I've seen this with so many clients. So most of my clients work with me more than once. So I have a lot of clients I've worked with for a year, 2 years on. And I could literally see where like in this one period of time, they were really stuck on a certain belief and they got that objection all the time. And I can see how they just literally never get it anymore or don't even mention it because it's like not a thing they don't work people through. Their conversion rate's super high. So it's so easy, I get, for me to be like, seriously, this isn't a thing. Let it go and you'll move past it. But I promise I've seen so many clients do it where they were in this place where they were like, oh my God, I'm going to get readiness objections for all time. And now they're like, oh my God, that was so cute that I used to think that. But yeah, no, it's like not even a thing. Right? And so like Airsie is going to just decide today, like this is not a thing anymore and it's not going to be a thing anymore. And it sounds so simple, but it's so true. So I hope that was helpful. I am so grateful for you for giving me that example. I think you have just helped everyone that is going to watch this. And again, if you're watching live or the replay, I still want to know time, money, or readiness, because I think it's super helpful. The reason this is so important and I keep pushing it is because I want other people to be able to be like, oh, you all get money too all the time. I'm not doing something wrong. Oh, you all get time too all the time. I'm not fucking it up, right? Because again, I think there's this mentality that like, if you get an objection, you're fucking something up. And it's just not true. Your job is to be able to empower people through the objection. That's the whole thing, right? And that's what we just did, right? And Airsies is like, done. That's me. It's simple, right? And I'm awesome. Thanks, girl. So that's the whole thing, you guys. You're creating your own objections. You get to uncreate them today in this moment and see a result in your sales process because of it. So if you have questions, let me know. If you want to tell us time, money, or readiness, is that the order I went in before? Yeah, time, money, readiness. I would love that. Give each other permission. And oh, here's the other thing I want to say before I forget. Spots for the Value Centered Sales Media Mastermind are no longer available, but I already picked the next start date, which is going to be July 8th. So if you know you need help with your sales process, with objections, with any and all things sales, the next mastermind is going to start July 8th. So like right after 4th of July is like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and we'll start the following Monday. So they're selling out super fast. If you want to get in it, I think I'm only going to do July and October. I think we're doing July 8th and October 7th, and that's it for the rest of the year. So if you know you want to be in one of those, you can put down a small deposit now to secure your spot. You can get on our wait list, whatever feels good for you, but just know we have one more opening July and then just one more opening in October, and we're done for the year. So if you need sales help, that is the thing. I guess I should put the link in. I will do that as soon as I get off the live stream, and let me know if you want to be in our July mastermind. All right, guys, I hope you have a beautiful week. And also, can we just give like a big gratitude to Facebook for not shutting down my live stream midway this time? Like, this just made my whole Monday. I am so, so happy. All right, I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful Monday. And also, again, what do we think of the lip gloss? If you missed that at the beginning, I need you to let me know. All right, love you guys. Bye.